SR Report 2020, Annual Status on Education Report 2020. This report is crucial in writing mains answers, general essay on education and also interview questions. UPSC in most of the discussions with respect to education, in the interview it revolves around SR, ASER, Annual Status on Education Report. This year the report was released, the first wave of the report was released. SR, the survey, Annual Status on Education Report, the entire survey will be conducted by an NGO called Pradham. And till 2014, this was an annual report. From 2016 onwards, they are giving in every alternative year. It have become a biennial report. And due to COVID, they have done phone-based survey in the month of September, and they are going to do some waves of survey, not a single survey, and because of COVID, they are going to have different waves of survey, and the first wave was finished recently and the report have come out. The survey was conducted through phone in 26 states and 4 union territories. COVID-19 have impacted the education trajectory in the country. No doubt everyone knows this fact. COVID-19 had a lot of impact, and from last 6 months the schools were completely closed, government schools and private schools. And what is the aim of the survey? The aim of the survey, SR survey, is to provide reliable estimates of children enrollment and basic learning levels, learning skills for each district and state in India. So, how the children are faring in India, what are their learning abilities, what are their basic skills, they are going to make a survey on that. Every year they used to do earlier, now they are doing it every alternative year. SR is being conducted since 2005 in all the rural districts in India. So, it is the largest citizen-led survey in India. SR is the largest and it is an authentic survey, and in most of the exams we quote it, that we need to remember. Coming to the data that was revealed in the survey, the children who are 5 years old in government schools are not doing well if you compare with the children who are studying in the private schools. The children in their learning activities in private schools are faring far better than the children in the government schools who are 5 years old. 20% of rural children did not have their school textbooks. Textbooks are the basic learning things for them, but on an average in India, 20% of rural children do not have their basic learning textbooks, and 1 in 3 rural children, at least 1 out of 3 in the rural areas, they do not have learning activities at all when the survey was conducted. They do not have learning activity at all when the survey was conducted. This is also a fact. 3% of rural children aged 6 to 10 years have not yet enrolled in the school. So, as per 2020 survey, 3% of rural children aged between 6 to 10 years have not yet enrolled in school in the year 2020 compared to just 1.8% in 2018 data. 1.8% we can see the children who are not enrolled in school who are between 6 to 10 years, but now in 2020 it is 3%. We can attribute this for COVID-19 as schools were completely closed and parents and children are disinterested. Enrollment pattern, there is a positive move. There was a slight shift in the enrollment pattern towards government schools from private schools. So, I can tell this because of migrant labours, because of financial loss, financial distress, and because of lack of finances in the hands of the parents. They might be sending their children to the government schools, opting to send their children to the government schools rather than to the private schools. This might be the reason. And only 16% of the children in class 1, in the first class, only 16% of the children in 26 surveyed rural districts can read the textbooks at the prescribed level. See, out of every 100 children in rural areas, only 16 children who are studying first class can read the textbook of the first class. While if you see 40% of the children who are in the first class cannot even recognize letters. They cannot even recognize letters. The children who are studying first class, means those who are completed 5 years, those who are in 6th year, they cannot even read letters. 40% of the children in rural areas. This is a pathetic situation, because 0 to 6 years is the age where children will learn letters, learn various things, particularly 3 to 6 years. And first class children cannot, 40% of them cannot read letters, recognize letters in the rural India. More than 75% of the school interactions are through WhatsApp. In the COVID time, more than 75% of school interactions are through WhatsApp. More than 60% of the enrolled children in rural areas live in the families with at least one smartphone. So, in India, earlier former Information Technology Minister Kapil Sibal said, there are more smartphones and mobile phones than toilets. This is proved to be correct. More than 60% of enrolled children live in the families with at least one smartphone. At least this is a positive move in a positive way. The survey uses the census 2011 as a sampling frame. So, 2011 census is the base for this survey, and the proportion of boys enrolled in government schools has increased from 62.8% to 66.4%. So, proportion of boys enrollment in the government schools increased. At the same time, proportion of girls also gone up from 70% to 73%. This is also a very good move. Girls enrollment actually got increased in a better way. So, boys enrollment increased, girls enrollment also increased, and the survey provides a glimpse into learning loss in rural India due to lack of digital connectivity. You all know COVID-19 necessitated everyone to have a strong digital connectivity, but unfortunately rural India, because of still BharatNet project, broadband, all these things are not completely successful. So, rural India is seeing a loss of that, is actually experiencing the loss of that in the education and health sectors. Another surprising fact and shocking fact, I can say it is a shocking fact. In Andhra, less than 35% of the children have school textbooks in rural India, while in West Bengal, Nagaland, Assam, around 98% of the children had proper textbooks. Andhra, there was a shocking thing that children do not have school textbooks in the surveyed period. In the surveyed period, about 1 in 3 rural child had done no learning activity at all when the survey was conducted. I think in that particular week when the survey was conducted, 1 in 3 rural children have done no activity at all, no learning activity at all, and about 2 in 3 children do not have proper learning material at all. Proper learning material, they do not have proper learning material at all, and only 1 in 10 in the rural children have access to online classes. Only 1 in 10 rural children have access to online classes. And one more fact is, this entire survey is conducted for the children who are between 5 to 16 years of age. So, ESSA report is very, very important. As few years back, the report said 5th class children could not do 2nd class maths and could not read 2nd class English textbook. So, it shows our learning abilities, it also shows our education quality. This report should be taken seriously by the governments, and any pandemic should not affect the progress of the child, as qualitative education is very, very important for a progressive country.